Fastest Linux distro revealed is a topic that sparks endless debate, curiosity, and sometimes even controversy in the Linux community because the idea of fastest depends on what you measure, how you measure it, and what kind of user you are. When people ask about the fastest Linux distribution, they are usually thinking about boot speed, application launch time, system responsiveness, memory usage, CPU efficiency, or how smooth the desktop feels on old or low-end hardware. In this video, we are going to explore all of that in depth, cut through the myths, explain the real factors that make a Linux system fast, and finally reveal which Linux distros consistently deliver the fastest experience in real-world usage. This is not just about benchmarks or numbers on a chart, but about how Linux actually feels when you sit down and use it every day. To understand what makes a Linux distro fast, we first need to understand that Linux itself is not a single operating system, but a kernel combined with different desktop environments, system services, package managers, and default configurations. Two distros can use the same Linux kernel and still feel completely different in speed. One might feel lightning fast, while the other feels heavy and sluggish, even on the same hardware. That is because speed in Linux is influenced by many layers working together, including the kernel version, scheduler settings, init system, desktop environment, background services, file system, and even the choice of default applications. So when we say fastest Linux distro, what we really mean is a distro that is carefully designed or configured to minimize overhead and maximize responsiveness. One of the biggest factors affecting speed is the desktop environment. Desktop environments like GNOME and KDE Plasma are feature-rich and visually polished, but they also consume more system resources, especially RAM and CPU. On modern hardware, this might not matter much, but on older systems or low-end laptops, it can make a huge difference. Lightweight desktop environments such as LXQT, LXDE, OpenBox, and i3 are designed to use fewer resources and provide a snappier experience. Many of the fastest Linux distros either use these lightweight environments by default or allow users to install only what they need. Another critical factor is background services. Many general-purpose Linux distros start a wide range of services at boot, including Bluetooth, printing, indexing, update checkers, and more. While these services are useful, they also consume memory and CPU cycles. Minimalist distros reduce or completely remove unnecessary services, resulting in faster boot times and better performance. This is one of the reasons why minimal distributions often feel incredibly fast, even on very modest hardware. The file system also plays a role. Modern file systems like X4, XFS, and BTRFs are highly optimized, but they have different performance characteristics. X4 is often considered a great balance between speed, reliability, and simplicity, and it is commonly used by fast Linux distros. Some advanced users tweak mount options and kernel parameters to squeeze out even more performance, but even default settings can make a noticeable difference. Now let's talk about the kernel itself. The Linux kernel is constantly evolving, and newer versions often include performance improvements, better hardware support, and more efficient scheduling. Some distros stick to long-term support kernels for stability, while others track the latest kernel releases to get the newest optimizations. There are also custom kernels optimized for desktop responsiveness, low latency, or specific workloads. A distro that ships with a well-optimized kernel can feel faster, even if everything else is similar. With all that in mind, let's explore the Linux distros that are most often recognized as the fastest, based on real-world usage rather than just synthetic benchmarks. One of the most frequently mentioned names is Arch Linux. Arch Linux is known for its simplicity, minimalism, and user-centric design. It installs only a bare minimum of packages by default, and everything else is added by the user. This means there is no unnecessary bloat, no extra background services, and no heavy default desktop environment unless you choose one. When properly set up, Arch Linux can be incredibly fast, with lightning-fast boot times and excellent system responsiveness. However, Arch Linux requires more technical knowledge and manual configuration, so it may not be ideal for beginners. Another distro that consistently ranks among the fastest is Gentoo Linux. Gentoo takes performance optimization to an extreme level by allowing users to compile software from source code with custom optimization flags tailored to their specific CPU. This can result in highly optimized binaries that run faster than their precompiled counterparts. Gentoo also gives users complete control over which features and services are included, making it possible to create an extremely lean and fast system. The downside is that Gentoo requires a significant time investment and a deep understanding of Linux, which makes it unsuitable for most casual users. For users who want speed without extreme complexity, there are lightweight distros like Puppy Linux. Puppy Linux is designed to run entirely in RAM, which makes it incredibly fast once it is loaded. Applications launch almost instantly, and the system feels extremely responsive even on very old hardware. Puppy Linux is often used as a rescue system or a portable OS, but it can also serve as a daily driver for users who value speed above all else. Its small size and minimal resource usage make it one of the fastest Linux distros in terms of perceived performance. Another strong contender is Anti-X Linux. Anti-X is based on Debian but stripped down to the bare essentials, using lightweight window managers instead of full desktop environments. It does not rely on systemd, which reduces overhead and improves boot speed on some systems. Anti-X is specifically designed to run fast on old and low-end hardware, and it delivers impressive performance with very low memory usage. It is a great choice for users who want a fast, stable system without sacrificing access to Debian's vast software repositories. Void Linux is another distro that often flies under the radar but deserves serious attention when talking about speed. Void Linux uses the run-it-init system instead of systemd, resulting in extremely fast boot times and efficient service management. It is independently developed, lightweight, and highly customizable. Void Linux also offers both glib and muzzle builds, allowing users to choose an even more minimal and efficient setup if they want. With a lightweight desktop or window manager, Void Linux can feel incredibly fast and responsive. Alpine Linux is widely known in the server and container world, but it is also one of the lightest and fastest Linux distros available. It uses muzzlelib and busybox, which significantly reduce system size and resource usage. Alpine Linux is not designed primarily as a desktop OS, but with some effort, it can be configured as one. In terms of raw efficiency and minimal overhead, Alpine Linux is among the fastest Linux systems you can run. For users who prefer a more user-friendly experience, there are fast distros based on mainstream projects. Lubuntu, which uses the LXQT desktop environment, is a lightweight official flavor of Ubuntu designed for speed and efficiency. It provides a familiar Ubuntu base with significantly reduced resource usage, making it a popular choice for older hardware. Xubuntu, which uses XFCE, is another fast option that balances usability and performance. Linux Lite is also worth mentioning as it focuses on speed, simplicity, and ease of use, especially for users transitioning from Windows. Now comes the big question: which Linux distro can truly be called the fastest? The honest answer is that there is no single fastest Linux distro for everyone. However, if we narrow it down based on raw speed, minimal overhead, and maximum responsiveness, a few names consistently rise to the top. For pure performance and minimalism, Arch Linux and Gentoo Linux are often considered the fastest when properly configured. For out-of-the-box speed on low-end hardware, Puppy Linux and Anti-X Linux are hard to beat. For modern speed with simplicity and elegance, Void Linux stands out as an exceptional choice. If we had to reveal one Linux distro that combines extreme speed, modern design, and real-world usability, Void Linux is often the most balanced answer. It offers blazing fast boot times, minimal background services, excellent package management, and the freedom to build a system exactly the way you want. It does not force unnecessary components on the user, and it rewards those who want a fast, clean, and efficient Linux experience. That said, the fastest Linux distro is ultimately the one that is best optimized for your hardware and your workflow. A carefully tuned XFCE desktop on Debian can feel faster than a poorly configured Arch system. A minimal window manager on Ubuntu can outperform a heavy desktop on any distro. Speed in Linux is not just about the name of the distro, but about how it is configured, what software is running, and how well it matches your needs. In the end, Linux gives you the power to create your own fastest system. You can strip away unnecessary services, choose lightweight software, optimize your kernel, and build an environment that feels instant and fluid. Whether you choose Arch, Gentoo, Void, Puppy, Anti-X, or a lightweight Ubuntu-based distro, the real secret is understanding what makes Linux fast and using that knowledge to your advantage. So when someone asks, What is the fastest Linux distro? The real answer is this: the fastest Linux distro is the one that you shape to be fast. Linux is not just an operating system, it is a toolkit, and speed is one of the many things it lets you master.